This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I represent Bahamian people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Baytown, bro. Where I from Baytown, bro. Right between West and Augusta, where them two roads meet, they call it Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a sign blank check. It seems the ones that coming after quick to disrespect. You see, this life in the ghetto never easy. So many hungry days break till it grieve me. Way I doing the best I can, trying to turn my dollar to 100 grand. I represent the ghetto people. I from Nassau, Bahamas.
Good night, Bahamas, and welcome to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I'm your host, Valentino, a.k.a. Scrooge, MPJP. Telephone numbers tonight on Guardian Radio are 323-6232, 325-4316, and 325-4259. And welcome to Inside the Inner City that premieres every Friday at 6:30 to 8 p.m. It's just a pleasure to have you all listening to this show at this particular time. You know, it's Friday and most people will be partying, but the show has become such a hit that many people around the country listen to it because we talk so much about what's happening in our life. Many people speak on the issues that are happening in our lives. They want to hear the real talk. They want to find solutions. And most of all, they want to find organizations in the country that are doing good, but go under their affairs, but they contribute to the development. They are more like policing as well because they're the ones who assist in educating. They assist with food, stamps, they back to school giveaway, tutoring, unsung heroes in the country. And this was a show was established for. So tonight we're going to have a very special guest in studio. But before we get to our guest, I just want to give with some public announcement that will be happening in the community and as well as around the country. On February the 15th, they will be having a grill and chill sponsored by Manuel on Hay Street Park, February the 15th. A grill and chill. So you can come out February the 15th, bring the kids, bring the family. There's going to be a lot of food and drinks. And it's a good time to get together, meet some friends who we've not seen in a very long time, enjoy yourself, some free treats as well. So yes, on February 15th, Hay Street Park. It's actually named McPherson Park, but it's called For the Love Grill and Chill. For the love of Baytown. So we have a young gentleman, Manuel. He is a resident of Baytown, and he wants to give back. And this is his giving back. So February 14th, Hay Street Ballpark. Come out and enjoy yourself. We have a wonderful guest in studios today. We go way, way back. He has done great things in the grandstand community of Woods Alley. He has the Raleigh and the Alley Community Center. He's Bishop John Ferguson, former Assistant Commissioner of Police. We go way back, way, way back, people, I tell you. So it's a story that we talk about a little later on in the show. And one of the reasons I invited him on the show because he has been contributing to the well-being of the community for a very, very long time. And he has this event coming up. So it's fitting to give somebody who stays under the radar. He has many opportunities to speak on radio, but we give him the privilege and honor because I think it's very important for people around the country to keep on hearing about the people who are fighting a good fight. They are partners from various different sectors, and he is the person who they connect to make things happen in the city community. even not just in Grandstand, but many other people are out there similar to what he is doing, and others are doing the same thing. But we would like to let you hear his contribution on when he's going to have his rally in the alley, which has been a great success for our community because many young men have grown up through Woods Alley, and as a former assistant commissioner and a former police officer, he has been able to use his influence and the little connection he has to help as many as he can. And many have gone in different fields of education, work ethic. You know, some have been successful in some things we can't even imagine. But he gave a hand and he has helped many. And I just wanted to let the general public know about the good works that Bishop John Ferguson is doing in the Grandstand community. Good night. It's a pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me on your show this evening. And good evening to your listening audience around the world.
It's a pleasure to have you, Mr. Ferguson. At least Bishop Ferguson. How long have you been a bishop now, sir?
About 3 years now, 4 years.
3 years.
3 years, yeah.
And what does it take to get to be a bishop?
Well, let me put it like this. I am a bishop in the Church of God of Prophecy, where I was born and grew up, spent all my life. And I started ministry first really as a Sunday school teacher.
Wow.
You know, my father was a pastor in the Church of God of Prophecy for about 30 plus years, and he pastored about 7 churches.
Wow.
In the Church of God of Prophecy.
Wow.
And so I had the opportunity, along with my siblings and my mother, to move into various churches and understand what was going on. And somehow, I guess the mantle fell on me, or for some reason, and I served as youth director for some time at one of our churches. The Tabernacle. I was youth director there for some years. And then I moved on and became a community pastor for 20 plus years. And then eventually I was selected to be a bishop, you know, and made the work I've done speak for me. You know, I never dreamt, I never asked to be it, but, you know, I was just selected to be a bishop.
Wow. You said something remarkable just now. What is a community pastor? Explain that to me. When you said community pastor, you know, there are pastors, but when you said community pastor, your passion was just to minister to the inner city community where you see the at-risk, the poverty, and the decay that's happening in our community to bring some relief in the highways and byways.
Well, I was appointed a community pastor by my church.
Wow.
You see? And the word community means exactly what it means, community.
Wow.
You know? And in so being, it allowed me to go into the community and, well, let me back up a little. Prior to that, I was always involved in community. You know, prior to that, you know, I never left the community, you know, but I guess someone must have said, man, we might as well, you know.
Yeah, you were built
put a title on him.
You were built for the highways and byways. How was your experience in the community itself?
Oh man, it's been a tremendous experience, you know, and I have been able to really make it because of my law enforcement background. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I have been, you know, I was fortunate to get some of the best training that the Royal Bahamas Police Force had to offer. You know, I was sent to, you know, the FBI Academy. I graduated from the FBI Academy.
Wow.
Then I went to the Independent Commission Against Corruption training school in Hong Kong. And I've been traveling all over. I went to Hawaii, all over, getting experience on how to deal with inner city problems and leadership and how to guide and direct people, and young people in particular, in the right direction. And that's why I'm saying my experience and my law enforcement background allowed me not to be fearful, because a lot of people cannot deal with inner city and communities because they are fearful. And when people are fearful, they are not prepared to go anywhere. They're not prepared to do anything. And everybody they see, they fear them. And they paint they tend to paint everybody with the same brush. You see? And so I can walk in, I believe I can walk in any community in New Providence. I worked in the Family Islands, Eleuthera, Andros, and I never had any problem. I carried out my duties. When it was time to make arrests, I arrested people. I was in charge of divisions, gave directions, and it's about how you treat people, and you get the response of the community based on how you approach and treat the community. You see?
Amazing.
You can't say everybody in the community is bad. You know, you're from the youth, then that means you bad. You are a product of the community.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, Nassau is only, New Providence is only 7 by 21.
Wow.
You see?
Wow. Amazing. Wow. So, Bishop, you talked about your extensive police background, and I'm going to question you a little bit more on it, and ask some questions later on, but I want to get to more positive aspect of the show before we get to asking some questions. You know, as a former commissioner of police, you talk about the extensive training, you know, corruption and stuff like that. So I'd ask you 1 or 2 questions. You don't have to answer them, but I'd like to ask you, after we talk about the work you've been doing in the community for such a long time, has great effect in the community. I want to hear some. Chef, I want to hear something about the sponsors who have been assisting you. You don't have to call that name. That some might want to remain anonymous. What do you feel is your greatest achievement? But let's start off with this. When is your event coming up, sir?
Oh, Sunday coming.
Sunday
the
coming.
26th of January. All roads will be leading to Woods Alley for the annual Sunday School Big Harvest Community Sunday School Rally in the Alley. An awards presentation. And at that event, we will also be giving a progress report on what we are doing. And also, we will be honoring 7 outstanding Sunday Sabbath school teachers from various churches.
Wow.
And we're also going to give an honorary award to, we normally keep that to our heart, you know, until that happens.
Yes, sir.
But over the years, we have awarded over 100 or close to 100 persons across the board, including the Family Islands.
Wow.
All of the major Family Islands. We have had persons from Grand Bahama, Eleuthera, Cat Island, Andros, Exuma, and Long Island, Abaco, and now we are dealing with Megwana. We have an awardee coming from Megwana. So the whole idea is to show people and to make people to understand that the Sunday school is a movement. The Sunday school is not a byproduct of a church activity. It's a movement. It's a living movement. It was founded, the modern Sunday school, Robert Ricks in London. He was the one who started the modern Sunday school. But I always tell people, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was the first teacher
Of a Sunday school.
of a Sunday Sabbath school. And when you backtrack on that, he taught the people. You would never see, if you could find in the book where he said he did other things, fine, but most of the times he taught the people. Whether it was under a fig tree, by the dock, he taught the people. And that is what is lacking with our young people today. Proper teaching and becoming what I would call champions of the fundamentals of the faith, the fruits of the Spirit, the 10 Commandments, knowing the Bible, understanding the Bible, how to do a discourse, because we have a slippage in our generational gap with young people who do not have the knowledge of what it means to be spiritually grounded in what you believe in. It's more than just going to church. I went to church all my life. All my life, I go to church. You can't just tell young people, go to church, go to church. Okay, I in church now. What is there for me to hear? But when they go to Sunday school where they can ask questions, and I say, you cannot question a preacher 11 o'clock from that pulpit. When he says or say something, you can't ask him nothing. You have to listen to what he's saying. But in Sunday school, in that environment, a teacher says, teacher, explain this to me. You say this, you say that. And the scriptures is properly, a proper discourse, I call it an autopsy, is done on the scriptures.
So you mean that person hear what's going on, and then you could compare it with the Bible
Yeah.
and give an answer to
yes.
that question,
Yes.
to that curiosity on
Exactly.
why I should not slap a woman,
Right.
for instance.
Yeah.
Or why,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, why should I not walk into grown-ups' presence without saying, excuse me?
Exactly.
Or pass an
Yeah.
elderly person without
Manners.
saying good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. They are basic principles that you learn, and well, most of that it should start from the home.
Mm-hmm.
But as you can appreciate, also we have a breakdown in the homes,
the family values.
The family values.
Yes.
So you have a lot of our young people. They are coming from a house, not a home. You say, well, why you say that? Well, in most cases, there's no male presence, no fatherly figure, no one to emulate, no one who you can say, well, I want to be like him, or like, you know. Now, I give credit. The mothers in this country have done extremely well in keeping the balance.
Based on the circumstances
Under the
facing.
circumstances, they have done very well, and some of our finest sons and daughters were produced by single mothers.
Yes.
You know, that's the reality of it.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. So, how many years have you been doing
29 years.
29 years.
We started in September 1995.
1995?
Yeah. And I must give great credit to my family who assisted in making sure we got properly grounded, my wife and children, and my siblings, and by extension, the group of volunteers who came along to help us over the years. There have been, many persons who have assisted, but the most, in the longevity of it,
Continuous.
continuous. And I always say the longevity of anything begins with the person who has the vision and whom God called to be the principal. And I believe that during that time and during this time, I was the one chosen to lead the charge.
Yes, sir.
And I tell people, until I can no longer do it, I have to carry out the mandate that God has called me to do. As simple as that.
You feel comfortable where you're at right now?
Oh yes, man. I am so comfortable until I can't explain it, because when you are at peace with yourself.
Yes, sir.
See, a lot of people are not at peace with themselves first.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are at peace with yourself and at peace with God, that's a different feeling. You see, when you are at peace, when you are confused and worrying about this, worrying about tomorrow, worrying about who don't like you, who like you, and so forth, you are not at peace with yourself. You see, and the inner peace, the peace that passeth all understanding, that comes from God. And that's why in the midst of confusion, in the midst of all kind of crisis, you see some people, they're at peace because they understand what it means to be at peace with yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that means, in other words, you're saying, I just going to give my little 2 cents on it.
Yeah.
When you're saying at peace, that means you give it your all to the welfare of your country, but also to your community, the best that you could do. For those who you assisted and helped along the way, you feel comfortable with the fact that you was able to have a lustrous career in the policing system, where you became assistant commissioner of police. But your main at peace is knowing that all that come together, and you could rest quietly at night, knowing that you see the joy and the happiness of the kids and the community that you reside in. The smiles and the thanks that you
Exactly.
get, which you don't want no thanks, but the thanks they give makes you feel so good, makes you feel more than money.
That is true.
So that's the kind of peace you're talking
That's
about.
the kind of the peace. That's why I said the peace which passeth all understanding.
Wow.
You see, again, like I said, if you are not at peace with yourself, you're not some people are not satisfied with themselves.
Yes, sir.
For some reason, they go and see somebody else with something, they figure they fail. But they confuse themselves, and throughout my career, throughout my life, I try to be as balanced as I could. And I don't try to control things that I have no control over, And any officer, particularly who I worked with, will tell you, I was always fair-minded. I never take advantage of anyone. I give anyone who worked with me whatever you were entitled to get, you get. If you were not entitled to something, you did not get it. If I felt you needed to be reprimanded or you needed to be told about something, I told you. And even in my in dealing with offenders of the law, you can check the record. When it came to the law, I enforced the law, and all the persons who worked with me had to deal with people fairly.
Wow.
You know.
You give me emotional. Like you answer some of the questions that I was going to ask you, but I'm still going to ask you later on the show. Because we want to get to we want to talk about the integrity part. We also talk the fact that you talked about how you dealt with criminals fairly in the station and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Royal Bahamas Police Force right now, and I think that now something's come to light. I think that now we can try and find a solution to the problem and move forward and see how we can correct these problems and get the public's trust, get everyone's trust back again, because it's the Bahamas, and sometimes things go unseen in the country, and the only way we need to fix it is by first identifying the problem and now also finding a solution for the problem so that we can move forward as a country. So before we get there, let me ask you the next question. All right. You are living through one of the most dangerous communities in the Nassau, Bahamas. We're talking from Lewis Street to Taylor Street. Through Woods Alley, what it was called? Chokeneck Alley. Bishop Simeon Hall used to live through there. So when he said Chokeneck Alley, that is actually Woods Alley.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were through this corner, climbing up the ladder. I don't know if he was assistant commissioner of policeman. Yeah, I think he still was on the force or somewhere around there. But you were through a corner where there was a high-profile gang situated further down through the corner. But you were there, and you were able to still build a friendship and connection with them. And you were able to help them out as well as do what you can for the community itself. Because, like you said, a lot of people would run away from the problem, knowing that you were a police officer and knowing that you were in a community where you have guys who you know from the neighbor's screen. So you were there with no danger. But you were there and you assisted the best way you can. Tell us about the turning around that you're seeing happen in the community, and we could give some solutions, some examples of what actually helps slow it down. But tell us some of the like it was high profile. People listen. That is one of the only community that I've seen where they had police cars stationed in each one of the corners. They told not to go through none of one of those corners, to not drive through those corners. Twice in my entire life being a part of a gang, and then me being as a citizen, still living in that world. So it was very dangerous. We had shooting just about every day. So Mr. Ferguson was able to still manage in that community with a high level of young kids coming to his church with one incident. So that's just remarkable. What that says for your character in that community?
Well, it's interesting how the scenario you presented. It's an interesting scenario because when we started that Sunday school in 1995, man, you thought you was at the Gaza Strip. I know why you're laughing. It was interesting because Hay Street Park and all those areas, man, it was something else.
And that was the first wave of gangs.
That's the first wave.
You get the first wave, the second wave, mandatory wave.
You see, I remember I was appointed. I think I was an assistant superintendent then, in charge of the firearms unit.
Yes, I remember quite well.
And boy, that was something. I said to myself, because every time I go there, and of course, as the commanding officer, everybody know when you're in the area.
Yes.
Because they see,
the car. we know the engine.
Y'all know the engine, the sound of the engine. But for some reason, I'll be honest with you, I always felt that God was protecting me. Yes. I never withdrew from the fact that if God did not call me and chose me to be in this community at this time to do his bidding, I could not survive. I had to convince my family that everything will be all right. Everything is going to be all right. And, there was some of those notorious characters who used to be dodging around and they, what I'm saying, well, chief in the area, they just, it was no problem. On Sunday afternoons, you see the cars passing up and down and, it wasn't no problem. I never confronted, but at that time, as you know, the gun unit had a vibrant, proactive team.
Yeah.
And those fellas, they had no problem in dealing with things that were happening, And when arrests were made, they were dealt with.
Yes.
Fairly,
Yes. I got locked up in that too. I got locked up by 380 pistol. Your gun, you in the squad. Sergeant, I can always remember Sergeant Tool. It was Sergeant Tool, Ryan Bull. Yeah, and Ashton Greenslade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
You were the commanding officer in chief. And and he said something what is remarkable, after I got apprehended, I was brought to him up by Central Police Station, as a high profile at the time gangster. So the force was hot for me. See, if you young guys, you all need to listen. See, you all think y'all was hot. So you need to listen for persons who were being in the field. Okay, and this is Assistant Commissioner of Police right here, so he can tell you the kind of trouble we used to cause, me and myself, Chucky and Mouche them and you and them and all those guys and stuff, JP them, most of these guys are deceased. Only me and Chucky living now.
Yeah.
Okay, so, sitting down in the office, he would sit down in the chair and, he'd always talk to you, Otherwise, the guys ain't gonna talk to you, but he was able to say, look, y'all don't touch him, just tell us what we need to know, whatever the situation is. So like he said, he was also a decent cop as well. He didn't abuse his power. But I want you to say this also to the general public. Because of the drug pandemic we had and the alcohol pandemic we had, that is a result of a lot of crimes you're seeing happening now in the country. Because myself and Mr. Ferguson, there's no excuse, but I think that was one of the reasons I ended up in the position I was in. Because my mom was on crack cocaine and my father was in prison serving a murder sentence, and he got Queen's pleasure. So in between, I had good grandparents, I had good aunties and uncles, but on the streets was a whole different ball game because at that particular time drugs was rampant, and then we had no leadership like what you're talking about to push us in the right direction.
Yeah.
So this generation now has a chance now because a lot of people have seen the wrong that is being done, and they're trying to correct it now in society. But like I said, we are a result, and I always said that I was a crack baby. So from I was born, I inherit that from my mom and from my father. And you know why I'm saying that? I'm not going to let you talk right now. Just 3 days ago, my good friend Elroy, Elroy, right? He's an old crook, but he changed his life around now. He's one of those guys Mr. Ferguson was talking about. So I was given this photo. So the shooting incident went down in Florida with the two young Bayman guys. Someone sent it to me, say, Scrooge, you know that face is? So I look, and when I look, I see my friend who's deceased, Bummer. Then I see my next friend, Scar. Now both of these guys I brought up in the gang. That's their two sons who are charged in Florida. So you see something that passes on.
Yeah.
You understand?
Generational curse.
Yeah. The one called Arrow,
Yeah.
I know his mom, but his father got killed. But Bowman got killed in 1999
Right.
by the club.
Yeah.
And then Scar, he was a top gangster on the streets too. And they had these two kids.
Yeah.
And now you see it pass on to their kids. Now
Right.
these guys are locked up in Florida. You know that that life is finished.
Yeah.
Coming back for them. So if you young guys out there, listen, I change around their life. Find a church, find somebody who you can confide in, and the Father would guide you if you try. Life of badness, it ain't gonna get you nowhere in this life. It's better to be good than to be bad. It's better to be love than to be fed, because if you're fed, you ain't gonna make it in this life. So I just wanted to say that, I was just looking at the photo and someone said it to me. When they look at the face, I just look at the face and they say, this Bummer who I brought up, and this guy who I brought up. And I teach them badness,
Right.
and someone teach me badness.
Yes.
And I had teaching them badness, now look at their sons.
That's right.
And, boy, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But to your credit, Scrooge, and
Yes, sir.
I want to say it publicly, your life has been transformed, and you are now a living example
Yes, sir.
of what can happen
Yes, sir.
when young men decide that they will put the brakes on, stop, reflect the fact that they're still alive.
Yes, sir.
After being involved in so many things that they could have gotten killed.
Yes.
It had to be a reason that God spared your life to allow you to be where you are today in our country and to say what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Because, Mr. Ferguson was doing a tremendous job as the firearms unit. I want you to believe, like, these guys was like, they could have smelled this gun. They was like, all this like pit bulls, man. I mean, like, just put your stash there. They stand there for hours. They stand and they look at your eye. They got you stand up and they look at your eye. And if your eye look there, the whole place get dig up. I mean, I'd get dig up and look, we get it now. Now, they wouldn't find it, but they would stay in one spot like for 2-3 hours, man. I swear.
Yeah.
Mr. Ferguson, we got a call online. You want to take this call?
Sure.
Go ahead, caller. You're on Inside the Inner City on Guardian Radio.
Yes, good evening to you, Valentino, and good evening to my former boss and colleague, and a good man of God. First, let me give thanks to the Almighty God through Jesus Christ of Nazareth and the Holy Spirit enveloping us. Mr. Ferguson, you are a man of an angelic character, and this former 1352 transitioned into the Paranormal Investigations Unit and the eugenic experimentations on many of our children over here in the, I would say, Grantstown area. And I stay on the airwaves, and you used to be in pay office, and I will never forget your kindness, okay, with the insurance. So I am calling to commend you and your family, your wife, your children, and your sisters, and that gracious, I think, genetic of yours is from the Wilson, the authentic Wilson. See, I know and I respect all police officers. And I am here still through Hay Street because I was placed here in partnership with the Reagan administration to see how they treat the over-the-hill people at the time. You know who you're speaking with, right?
Yes, I do know.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, I know exactly who is
Yes,
speaking. Yes.
Bernice Johnson. They used to call me Biggie
I know
at one time.
Yes, I know exactly who I'm
You
speaking.
see, and I did a lot of investigations, and our police officers have much money to access. So I know I will work with you. No, I haven't been through. I mean, I know of the Sunday school, but I want you to be a part of accessing our funds. And this is not political because it's about the biblical discipline, resolve, and returning moral, ethical discipline conduct to the nation on the whole, and by extension, it's intellectual property because it's the property of the United States of America, the Eurasia bloc with Britain and Canada. So this was a high-profile investigation where our nation leaders came under attack, and now you see it all over. So I only call to put you on guard, and I send out my condolences and comfort to Mr. Mason. You know, he lost his wife. I used to send out songs and things on Saturday nights to her. So God bless and comfort all who are in mourning and loss on Mr. Valentine's Scrooge show, because I love to call in when I have my people who I know. I listen in all the time, Scrooge. You know where I am to Hay Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? God bless you all and keep you all, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoying
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, Mr. Ferguson, as officers, like I say, I want to say this also to the kids and youngsters out there, arming yourself against the police is like suicide. Like I said, I got locked up with a 380 pistol, and I got to always remember this. I was held at gunpoint from Ashton Green State, Sergeant Toot and Bull. And Ashton was the one who said not to shoot me. So I wanted to be in here today. It wasn't a good cop like Ashton Green Slate. Who trying to be my cousin?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
My life was in their hands. And
And
I was armed. And I was trying to...
He rose to the rank to become assistant commissioner.
Yes.
Yes.
So I owe my life to him because he actually held my hand. I could always remember this, Mr. Ferguson. And they was going to shoot me because me and him was hustling through Mason Edition. And I could always remember this. And he was to say, don't shoot him. I get him. And I was trying to yuck out my pistol. So sometimes in situation where you see police or any situation, sometimes it be the fault of us, but actually it goes away. I mean, sometimes it be the fault of us because I could give account for my fault because I never supposed to have a gun on me. Right. You understand? And the police doing their job. And I was trying to get my gun, and I might have opened fire on the police. That was my intentions because at the time, like I said, I was twisted in my mind.
Yeah.
You understand? So all you guys twisted in your out there in your mind, you never could beat the system because the system recruits every year.
Yeah.
Every year they recruit. So when you're trying to be bad, new officers coming. You can't. That's why Bob Marley say, you shoot the sheriff, but did you shoot the deputy?
Yeah.
So he's telling you that if you shoot the sheriff and you ain't kill the deputy, you know the deputy's going to come after you because the sheriff was his boy.
Yeah.
So that's the whole meaning of that. So I just like to say, be wise and be careful. Make better choices in life. Try find a better alternative out there on these streets, okay? Because I can tell you, it wasn't easy and it's still ain't easy, but you can make better choices and better decisions. Find yourself some people who are doing positive programs. Talk to a family member who might be successful in business and try to see if you could talk to them and be respectful to them. And maybe they'll give you opportunity to help you. But if you stink and no manners, that's the problem you're facing today. Many family members don't want to talk to you or want you to come around them because you're unappreciative, you're disrespectful.
Yeah.
You think you're entitled to something.
Right.
Okay? And when you go around people like that, we turn our backs on you because we don't have no time to have no discord. We rather have peace, like you stated,
Yes,
Mr. Ferguson.
yeah.
So
If I may also add to what you're saying and giving advice, I always tell young people, young men, don't ever try and have any confrontation with law enforcement officers. If you are stopped for some reason and a question is asked of you, answer it. Can I see your driver's license, please? Can I see your insurance? And if you have these things, you just answer the question that was asked of you. And during my career, I found out, particularly when I was, on the streets in driving patrol cars, sometimes a lot of young people, you ask them something and they up what you're asking them and they try to be funny, they try to create scenarios, and then one thing leads to the next.
The officer get irritated.
One thing leads to the next, and before you know it, you have another situation on your hand. And this is, I tell them, this is worldwide. No matter where you go in the world, you are stopped by law enforcement officials. Be sensible. Answer the question that is asked. And if you're clean, you don't have any problem.
We get to some more questions on it. We're going to take this next call, and then we go to one other segment of the show. Go ahead, caller.
Good night, Scrooge.
Good night. How are you?
I'm okay. Good night, Mr. Thompson, right?
Ferguson. Bishop Ferguson.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, Mr. Ferguson, some you said like sticking up inside my head, and it's like a paradox. When you say that for people to have peace with themselves, can you expand into that, and then I can give you how I think about that, please?
Okay. When I say peace with yourself,
Yes, sir.
I mean you are comfortable with who you are.
Yes, sir.
Whatever your calling is in life, you are comfortable with yourself.
Yes, sir.
You're not trying to be what you are not.
Overextend yourself.
Overextend yourself trying to be what you are not. So peace, inner peace,
Yes, sir.
that comes from God. I'm be honest with you. You
But
can't.
when you said that, right?
Yeah.
I say, you know what I say? I say because me personally, I mean, like, I'm not a Christian, I don't want to be one, right? But you know what I mean? I ain't listen, right? But what I'm saying is this, right? Like, looking at oneself, right? For one to have peace with oneself, one got to be, at least take the time to PT yourself to find out who you are and what you're dealing with. You understand what I'm saying?
Understood.
As a human, and I mean, look at life objectively for what it is, right? And you place yourself where you're supposed to be. I'm talking about in the proper perspective. I'm not talking about committing crimes or whatever. As a human being, you understand what I'm saying? And it's like people basically, they go disarmed from the time, and they don't take no time to spend time with yourself to find who you are, find out what your strengths and weaknesses are, what you're good at, what you love, the people, your company and all. You ain't gonna need no company but to find who you is. Company is a joke. You want to be by yourself so much because you know who you're around yourself.
Well,
Because I mean, huh?
no, I was going to say, there's nothing wrong with being by yourself, but at the same time, you have to
Interacting
associate
people.
and fellowship and react with other people.
Yeah. But see, if let's look at life in general and the population, of, like you say in general, right? When you look at like to say in the population, you find that people like to be around people too much. They don't want to spend no time with themselves. When they spend time with themselves, they feel haunted. They feel as if somebody they missing something. They got to be out there, and they can't. It ain't no peace. To know oneself is to find peace with oneself. I ain't talking about religion, but all the things. Once you find out who you are, find out what you love, and you be. I'm talking about into that, and you're dedicated to what you're doing. And I mean, it's like that's peace right there. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't need nobody else to say, but we collaborating together because you know what? If you come into a situation as a whole, you land up as a whole. If you go into situations as a half, you land them in half, i.e., a marriage, they say 50-50. So people coming in half of themselves and they're looking for the next half. It ain't gonna wait. Because everyone has to come in 100% who you are. You can't come in halfly. Huh?
Point
Hello?
well taken. Your point well taken.
Okay, so I mean, in life, all it could be as religious as we may, but being religious doesn't necessarily mean you have peace because you could be religious and what you corrupt yourself. You're a person. All you want to do is just abuse people, whatever. You're wicked, whatever. But you use a religion to cover up all of this and say you're affiliated with other people, and they can't say nothing to judge you because you can't judge. All right. So I mean, life is simple, man. Know yourself. Whoever you are as an individual, know yourself. Because guess what? Going out there in this world and things, I'm not knowing yourself. You're going like in a jungle with plenty wicked animals, okay? And I mean, like it's serious, man. You could get and then you join up with almost anything. People can influence you to do this, to do that. You could do this. Let's go here. Let's go there. Because you don't know yourself. Hello?
Yeah.
So we listen.
You're listening.
You're listening.
Yeah. So I mean, that's how I look at it. And I talk from experience. I talk from experience. And the most beautiful thing in life, I mean, I don't even watch TV or nothing, watch no TV, because guess what? In the mind, there's so many things in the mind. And guess what? You know what? Look at when you dream. Nothing you see in life when your eyes are open as brilliant or as good as when you see it in a dream. Okay? And you know what? That's given to you from God, right? And guess what? A benchmark beyond what you see when you open your eyes. In a dream, it's more shiny. It's better. Everything about it. Every single thing about it. And guess what? When you wake up, you're disappointed. And then you look around to try and look for that. You never see it. You know what? That is given to you from the all. And that's for you to manifest. That's your vision right there. But you know what? You wouldn't even delve into it because you'd be around other people with whatever they go and dealing with. And your vision, your dream dies. All of us, it's handed down directly to each one of us. But we have all these things that basically distract us, i.e. TV, cell phone, and all the different things, right? But these things are handed directly down from whatever we call God, right in our skull, given to us, all of us, right? But we get scared of it. We don't even go into it. How you going, man? I'm sorry, but have a nice day.
You talking, brother. Man, it's good to talk sometime, Yeah. He's making some point. I don't think Bishop wasn't so far off of what you're saying, you know what I mean? Bishop is just saying, he's at peace with himself. It means he's at peace. It means he's happy, You were saying that, you might need people for you to be at peace,
Yeah, but I understand what he was saying. And
he said you don't need no one.
And he, he outlined his personal way of dealing with himself, which he's entitled to.
Yes. So I know, Bishop, you're a distinguished officer, and you said some things, when it comes to citizens getting pulled over, and I know some of us be sting. And then we do have officers themselves who escalate the situation as well. So in the recent spring of events that have been happening with our Royal Bahamas Police Force, I know you might find it very shocking that these teens exploded. What is your thought on some of the things that happened with the new transition from former Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernandez, and now first female Commissioner of Police.
But let me say the Royal Bahamas Police Force will always be the premier law enforcement agency in our country, and the integrity and the reputation of the force goes beyond any individual officer. And from when I joined the force up until today,
Yes, sir.
the integrity of that force will always be the priority of any commissioner, to make sure that nothing is done or said to bring down the reputation of the force. Over looking at the landscape, and when you look at the history of over 150 plus years of existence of keeping law and order in this country, the force has done well. And it has had its challenges. It has had, like all forces around the world in general, and in forces in particular in the region, you have problems and challenges. But it's how the force responds to what is happening. And there is no doubt that the recent events was not too pleasant in terms of what has happened. But that does not mean that the force have to fold up and everybody becomes, afraid to do what they have to do. And there is now a new commissioner, first female in the history of the organization, and she's going to do well. This is my take on it. I think she's going to do well. She is surrounded by a good executive team. Those assistant commissioners and deputy commissioners, if they carry out their portfolio and do what is required of them, I have no doubt. And all of the things that has been happening, this too will pass. It will pass. Because it's just a matter of carrying out your duties and doing what you've been mandated to do. The office of commissioner is a constitutional appointment, and she's not acting commissioner; she is the commissioner. So I'm sure she will run her force and take the force to the next level, and into a brighter future.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it.
Yeah, and to give some clarity what you were saying, recently we were seeing where officers who are being involved or being charged, but put before the court, and etc. And that's the first step in the right direction. It might have been a slow process because, like I said, I listened to Commissioner of Police, our former Commissioner of Police, and we as citizens need to understand this too. He said it his own mode, it's very hard to deal with senior officers on the Royal Bahamas Police Force, but it takes time and how to do a proper investigation, then everything got to be approved. Some cases, we as citizens want a quick response, but we have to understand that it's a tricky, slow balance, and at the end of the day, we are getting some results. We are shaping up.
Yeah.
We are shaping up. I could say that because what you're saying, right, is like this. We have had a lot of problems with the force, we understand that, but we need the speed cops out there to stop the motorists who are breaking the law and protect our children. We need officers to protect the inner city communities when we have rapists, armed robbers out there who are doing havoc to the citizens. We need officers to go investigate the 12-year-old who was raped and did their proper investigation, because as they did the investigation, they locked up the suspect. The suspect was taken to silence, was in silence for 2 weeks, but the police didn't settle for that. They went and did some more investigation. They were able to find out that the person they have in custody is not the one responsible for the death of the young girl. And they were able to take DNA, and they were able to get evidence. And now the right person is behind bars. We need that from the Royal Bahamas Police Force. There's room for improvements on how some of our officers approach citizens, which needs to be one of the main issues. There are problems in the station which needs to be addressed. There needs to be protection for civilians. But overall, we need the Royal Bahamas Police Force, because at the end of the day, if there's some illegal activity going on, you would call the police,
Absolutely.
regardless. So it doesn't mean that the whole entire police force is corrupted. No,
No.
it's not. It's just that over the course of the span, we got beside ourselves for let some things slip, and some people abuse the Royal Bahamas Police Force of their position of power, which affected the morals of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. But at the end of the day, they are making the right adjustments, and they're putting those responsible before the court in a timely fashion, and that's all we can ask for. And it took the citizens and also those officers who themselves, because I've had discussion with the officers themselves who were kind of felt very bad for the circumstances that fellow officers did. So like I said, it's a step in the right direction. And like Bishop Ferguson is saying, it's going to get better because, like he said, the main issue of the Royal Bahamas Police Force is integrity, and they're going to protect it at all costs, even if it has to put officers themselves before the courts to show the general public that they stand on what they say, integrity, honesty. We have a call. You want to take this one, Mr. Ferguson?
Yeah, you can go.
But that's the whole overall. We need officers in the Bahamas for many different reasons. Because if we have serious crimes happening, who's going to go get them? But at the same time, we need to put barriers in place where we can also protect ourselves from the officers who go rogue and discredit, who go beyond their privilege to use their position of power. We're going to take this next call. Go ahead, caller.
Golly, they stuck, along with Mr. Ferguson, Scrooge.
Yes, sir.
John, what say?
Yeah, how you doing, Bremen?
I'm all right. I don't know if you know, you speak of how good the force are, right? But, some of those police did and does some untoward stuff. Number one, if you call Central, some of them don't know how to talk to you. They slam down the phone on you. Okay? A sergeant is one also. Okay? Other thing is, right, I think the police and those need not to emasculate the young men of our country. They should be trained how to deal with a person. You understand? You don't have to beat them with Billy and stuff like that, to make them afraid of you. I'm not saying you now.
No, I understand. I hear you.
Just know how to talk to people, and people listen. See, and that's not under force. Okay? Just recently I called, last week sometime, and the guy, I won't call his name, but he slammed down the phone on me. A sergeant also slammed down the phone on me. But let me go do something, retaliate, something of that sort. They'll take a delight in locking me up. So that has to change. You see, because you're not going to have a decent country if you emasculating the young men of the country. They have to grow up to be what God desires them to be, but all they need is guidance. And that's what a lot of police need to know.
Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's Bremen. Well, Bremen, sometimes, you call the station, some people send false report. A lot of times to the police station, you get some people who annoy the police by keep on calling the police on simple matters that they can deal with themselves. The police sometimes get tired. Now, I'm not taking up for the police. I'm telling you, as citizens too, we tell a lot of story. Let me give you a prime example, Bishop. We was having child funeral the other day by our ladies. I was there present. I going to show my support to the funeral. There was a security guard. She was to the gate. So there was a crowd of people, like talking a couple hundred people. No one was behaving disorderly. The lady was there, security guard. So a guy pulled up on a motorbike. He asked her just to open the gate. The lady, she looked at him. Oh, you disrespect me. Bishop, the guy ain't say nothing out the way. All he said is, excuse me, go open the gate. So she looked at us because we were standing on the sideline, and she looked at us. So when she looked at us, she was like, I ain't letting you. Now this is a funeral. So the guy said, why you ain't letting me up? So anyway, she said, you can't come in. The guy turned around his motorbike, and he ride off down the road and park on the side of the road. Now, a couple other guys who come to the funeral, come on that motorbike. She opened the gate, right? Saying she ain't want no bikes in the yard. So when she opened the gate and she closed the gate, the guy see that? So he jump on his bike and he come back to the gate and she stand up at the gate. He say, he's disrespectful, he ain't coming out. So the guy yacked the gate open. He didn't touch her. He just yacked the gate and said, you let them in, I could come in too. And he parked his motorbike. So she looked at us. She looked at us. That's why you could get killed in the country, because the people who send in the report, the citizens that send in the report, could cause an innocent person get killed. So we watching her. We say, watch what she could do. So she looked at us. Oh, you think I got time to play? She ran on the phone, Bishop. And she said, this guy out here with his motorbike, he yucking the gate. I don't know what he get on him. Could you send a unit? I feel threatened. Mm-hmm. When we look, he said, watch this. And I right there. And I was right there, Bishop. When you look, I say, there was no problem with this funeral whatsoever, child funeral. You had trucks come flying from all, woo, 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 big machine gun, running the churchyard. Now, it ain't the police fault. Who the fault is? It's the woman who called the police, who's security guard. It's her fault because she went and gave a false testimony against a young man who didn't ever threaten her. But she went on the phone and she said, so that's why the police come the way they come. Because she said, a lot of people here know when the police pull up. I was standing at the gate. So I said, officer, I say, a guy ain't doing nothing to the woman. But they still was taking up for the security guard. So I put up my hand because the people's getting agitated because everyone watched the scenery. So I put up my hand and said, let me leave it. If we can do this, the diplomat, right? I said, officer, you talk first. Officer talk. I said, officer, that woman, she telling a story, she lied. I said, look at all these people here. All these people here ain't gonna be saying the same thing to you. And then this next officer come, and he talked to the next officer. Someone whispered something in, and he say, she gone and put in a false report. She out on the stuff. You know what the officer did? The officers apologized to us and left with our ladies. With about 10 trucks. So again, who faulted this? And that's what we do as citizens too. And we put the police in certain situations as well. Yeah. The police is be aggressive on no time. But I'm saying, it's be us a lot of times, because what had happened? Just she would have caused a big scenery by funeral for no particular reason. She fabricated the whole story. All right. Yeah. Well, Bishop the phone line like that. But I just wanted to know, Bishop Foy is a decent cop. I said, personally for me, when he was in charge of the firearms unit, he treated me with due respect. So when you're calling, don't try to hit him. He telling you that when he was on the force, he deal with the law. If officers did something wrong, he would. If officers did good, he would put them up for promotion. Okay? Go ahead, caller. You're on inside the inner city on Guardian Radio.
Brother Brown.
Hey, Mr. Thompson.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm fine, Mr. Thompson.
Is your guest a police officer?
Yes, sir. Former police officer, former assistant commissioner police. Officer. You know him.
Okay. Listen, the thing is, I listened to Bremen. Bremen has been complaining about the police for a long time.
Okay.
The problems have not been solved. I don't know whether the person could answer that or not. They're creating problems for the people of Fortin Castle. Every time there's an event on Bay Street, we're being blocked from getting to our homes and our businesses in Fortin Castle. The police at headquarters have never made any allowance or given us any tickets when they're having these events on Bay Street so that we can pass the officer without having to have any confrontation. When they have events at police headquarters, we are never invited to be over there. In fact, when I heard about the first woman commissioner to be sworn in, I heard it on the news the day before. So how could the people in Cat Island and Eleuthera and Andros and all the family islands, people outside the country know about it? I didn't know anything about it. And when they have events, like I say, for the children, the people of Fort Castle are never invited. Now, they can keep their events over there, but the point is you're interfering with the rights, freedoms, and privileges of the people of Fort Castle. All they have to simply do is give us a ticket so we can show the goon squads they put on the street. There doesn't have to be any confrontation between the residents of Fort Castle and the police. But they block the three entrances. We can't get in. And then the man can tell you you could go out, but you can't come back. What kind of crap is that? But they don't do that in Lightfoot Key. They don't do it in Old Fort Bay. They don't do it in Albany. So why should the police interfere with us getting to our homes and our businesses when there's Junkanoo or any other activity they have on Bay Street? Why are we being hampered from getting to our homes? When I call headquarters, the woman tells me that's a simple problem. This has been going on for years. And we are always being interfered with by the police goon squads they put out there. And it's as simple as giving a ticket to the people of Fort Castle, show the officer the ticket, you go about your business, you don't have to be no you say, I say with them. But they don't do it. We're not given any consideration. I don't know what Mr. Ferguson could do about that, if he can. Now, Central Police Station is a waste of time.
First, let me say that, like I was introduced, I'm a retired.
Retired.
I can hardly hear him, Brother
Can
Brown.
you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, he could speak a little louder
Yeah.
because you were kind of low.
No, I'm saying to you that
He's retired.
I am a retired assistant
you
commissioner of
retired
police.
police
I'm
That's
not-
what he's telling you.
Yeah,
That's what he's
what I'm
saying.
telling you.
Okay.
So
can't.
I can't really speak to a lot of things what you're talking about. Okay? So, but what I can suggest to you is, based on some of the things you've mentioned, I suggest you make an appointment to speak with someone in the community relations section of the force. And I am sure they will sit down and listen to you and all of those things that you're saying. I have no doubt that they will look into it. That's my suggestion to you.
That's why you
Okay,
could put
fair
in.
enough.
Why you
Suggestion
say-
is well taken.
That's why you said
Have
go to the
known
community.
of the police force doing anything unlawful against the citizenry of this country and have admitted publicly to wrongdoing? Do you know anything about that, Mr. Ferguson?
He had already said it earlier on the show. Go ahead, Mr.
What he said?
He said earlier. Go ahead.
What was this question?
He's saying
My question is, have you known at any time since the Royal Bahamas Police Force came into existence that they have done things wrong against the Bahamian people and have publicly admitted to the Bahamian people that they were wrong? Do you know anything about
No,
that?
I can't recall of any.
You don't recall of anything?
No, I don't recall.
Well, the police force is not perfect. Okay?
No agencies. No one is
but
perfect.
the point is they have done some things against the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and they have never admitted to wrongdoing.
Well,
That's what I'm talking about. That is the problem with people who have a power and authority, like the people who make the laws. They expect me to obey the law. I don't have a problem with that. But they themselves want to exempt themselves from following the same laws that they pass. That's not fair to the Bahamian people. Mr. Ferguson, when people don't admit that they're wrong, you know what happens to them? They keep doing wrong things. They're not repentant. There's no repentance by the agencies of the state. And so people got to go through this all their lives trying to get justice, and wrongdoing persists. Bremen is a typical example. He has been complaining for years and nothing has happened.
That's why I am suggesting to you, and you can take him along with you as well. Go and sit down with the Community Relations Department of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and lay out your complaints. And I have no doubt that it will be addressed. That's
How
my
will it be
suggestion to you.
addressed, Ferguson?
Pardon?
How will it be addressed?
No, that's why I wouldn't know. You have to go first.
won't know.
You have
Okay.
to go and sit down with the senior officer in charge of that area, outline your complaints, have it documented and all of that, and I have no doubt that it will be dealt with.
I understand.
That is my
Okay.
suggestion.
Trying to get
But
back to you.
I did not expect any other answer from you, just what you gave me.
Yeah.
I expected that.
Well,
Okay?
Okay.
Because I know the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
We've been through that kind of situation before, Mr. Ferguson. Large complaints. There has been nothing done about those complaints. Complaint after complaint after complaint. And they'll tell you, well, they can look into it. Fine. But you never get any hardcore solutions to the situation that we have.
Anyway,
So what do you expect the citizenry to do? The citizen, they ask you, anything happen, you call the police. Central doesn't help the people of Fortson Castle. They never did. In fact, like Bremen tell you, the fella slammed the phone down and said, when I went to them,
you don't think Bremen is called too much, Mr. Thompson?
pardon?
You don't think Bremen is called the police too much?
What do you mean he called him too much?
You say all
He
those
has the
yes.
right as a citizen
No, I mean,
to
I just
call
saying.
these
No, last,
officers
I mean,
supposed to
I
be looking
never.
out for his interests.
I mean for his interest, but I saying you don't think for a minute, right? Like I say, all those years and ain't nothing happen. You think all those years
Well,
and ain't
that's
nothing
what I'm
happen?
trying to get Mr. Ferguson to understand.
It's hard to believe all those years putting all those complaints and ain't nothing happening.
So why have they not helped this
No,
Why I
man?
can't
no,
say?
He's
no,
a citizen
no,
of this country.
no. Stick a pin.
That's it.
What I am saying to you, sir, is
Okay.
you outline a whole chronicle of events leading up to what you're saying. Turn the page. And my suggestion to you is make an appointment to speak with the officer in charge of the Community Relations Division Department of the Force and lay out your complaint again. Do it. Just do it. And then see what will happen after that.
That's all you could do.
That's all. That's what I'm suggesting to you, because
Yeah, I know you
we
would
can
suggest
we can be on this. We could be here for the next 3 hours.
No.
Just saying.
We
the
ain't
same-
going through that, Mr.
No, that don't make sense. Because
I respect what you say. We've been through that before. I know what the result has been. Zero. Zilch.
So
Nothing.
you can't give no advice. Then
well,
your advice
well,
then your advice is not warranted.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying to you. You may have a different cadre of officers who see it different from previous officers, and
That
who
may be
knows?
so.
Who knows? You may get instant replies. That's my suggestion to you.
The police always put out this thing about their policing plan every year.
No, I don't want you. See, I don't want to get into that. Like
He's
I
not
said,
a police. He's
I am
retired.
not-
He's retired, Mr. Thompson. You're trying to come down on him tomorrow.
Yeah,
Retired.
he's retired.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's retired.
I am not here. I am not on
Get
this
your
show.
mix begin to mix up,
Yeah,
Mr. Thompson.
I am not on this show to really. To
No,
talk
but
about
if
that.
he's not able to answer it,
Yes,
fine.
that's
I
what he
accept
said.
that.
That's why I am suggesting to you where to go to
Yes.
get the answer.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, Brother Brown, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
You made your point. You made some good points. But he's retired, and like he said, he does what he has to do. As far as say disciplinary measures on the force, and I could say I could vote for him. I can't vote for everybody, but I know I could vote for him. Point as the officer, when I was a guy who was toting guns, who was selling drugs on the street, he treated me decently in his custody. And that's good enough for me. I don't know if he did it to other guys, if he treat them decently or whatever the situation is, how he live in the community. Like I said, he can't speak for all officers. I monitor all officers. I monitor said like Curtis and those who are accused of serious crimes that have been going on for a long, long time in the country. Those who use our planes, our defense force boat, those of us involved in certain crimes that are being committed that we find, like Mr. Thompson is stating, yes, that is all fine, but we need to try and use this as a way to correct the problems. Some of the problems are being corrected. I'm not speaking for the police, but I'm speaking for the progress of the country, because we look, officers are getting charged and getting put before the court. Things of what the Bahamian people have said going on with the airport and et cetera like that, those who they feel was sugar-coated, they're now being prosecuted before the court. So all the dots are lining up. You know, it takes the citizenry like yourself, Mr. Thompson, like Raymond, and et cetera. But I do think sometimes, Raymond, to call too much to the police station. You can imagine calling 4 or 5 times. I ain't saying he ain't have the right to. Listen to me. I ain't saying he have the right to. But we get a lot of people in this country who's call the police on people for no particular reason, just because they can, and they put the screen on the police officers and put them on the citizen. And a lot of people go to the station, put in false report. And I'm telling you, like I just stated about our ladies, you know, they want to, Bishop Foy, they want to put it on you. Okay, like I said, Bishop Ferguson is retired. Okay, he's distinguished. He's a good man. Does community work in the Grandstand community. Have his event coming up. Mr. Bishop, you want to take this last call? Please, y'all don't try. Put it on, Mr. Bishop. Mr. Bishop giving you the best advice he can. Okay, and like I said, go ahead, caller. You're on Inside in the City. Caller, you there?
Hey, Scrooge, good evening.
Good evening to you, sir.
And good evening to retired police Ferguson.
Good evening.
You know, I listened quite intently to the conversation between Bremen, the previous caller, Mr. Thompson, who I respect very highly. And, you know, like you, Scrooge, I too have heard the many complaints that Bremen comes on the airwaves and he speaks to regarding his experiences with the police department in his dilemma or plight. It's something that the retired officer that I'd spoken to, which I was going to actually suggest, but he beat me to the punch. And that is, you know, Bremen as an individual, with all the numerous of complaints that he has over the years that I know about the inactivity of the police force, in his view, in remedying the situations that he finds himself in, especially with his neighbors. I have a suggestion here. You know, if one person cannot get resolve or result for his particular dilemma, you know, there are neighbors around him that may have witnessed what he's going through and put together a petition.
Oh, I know
let the community petition through even through a written petition the police force, put something down writing with times that these events occurred and who was involved.
Yes, sir. You're making some good sense. Go ahead. You're making some good sense.
And if the persons who he approached at the police station, especially, each one of those officers carry a particular badge number that they were supposed to wear on their epaulette.
Yes, sir.
Take down those numbers and listen. I went to the police, to Central Police on such and such a date, at such and such a time. I saw officer such and such a epaulette number and his name, and I lodged this complaint. From the time I lodged the complaint up to a certain, give a reasonable amount of time, that I saw no result come from this. No one has said nothing to me. If they were keeping records of how many times, document it. And would present it, if the person on the bottom could not do anything, carry it up to the next level, and carry it up to the next level, and carry it up to the next level, until there is some type of response to these atrocities that's being done against Bremen. And I hear Mr. Thompson talk about what's going on at Fort Fincastle, and so on and so forth. You know, let there be a paper trail, and if then you don't get no justice from the police, then you come public. Yes. Bring it to the public to get the sympathy from the public, agitate the public, and so we can get some resolution.
Yes, that's why.
But they hear this thing over and over and over. You calling the police over and over and over. You have no document. You can only go by what you say. You know, it's like you're not getting anywhere with this matter.
Yes, sir.
Bring it forward, document it. Have someone document it, even if you have the videotape.
Yes, sir.
The situations that you're going through. That is evidence.
Yeah.
Do these things so we can bring some resolution to what it is you're going through. We have, in closing, I believe that the police force, in some cases, is very stretched, especially when it comes down to community policing. There's only X amount of police officers that deal with X amount of things in certain communities. And it is incumbent upon we as citizens to assist the police in trying to find ways to curb some of the strains that they go through so they can focus on the other more pressing things that will impact us as a country. I believe that is what I wholly and solely believe. There is no incident at all, and I want to make it clear before I hang up. There's no incident at all that I believe that if a citizen calls the police for help and they feel they're not getting that help, we do not diminish what that person is going through. But we gotta come up with a better strategy. If you find that your one voice in the wilderness is not doing it, then let's get a collective of voices together and try to bring some remedy or solution to the problems that we as a people are going through. And I end my thought process is here, and I would like to hear the response from the retired police officer if I am making any sense in this regard. Thanks for taking my call, Scrooge.
I just said real quick. I think that when you make these reports, like you say, you're supposed to be a community-minded person. So stop being right if you don't have your neighbors. If your neighbors ain't sticking with you, I ain't saying this particular person, but if your neighbors ain't sticking with you, like I said, it takes a community to build a village, right? Okay, that's what I say. Go, Mr. Flakes, if you want to. Then we come back to it.
Well, it's interesting.
It's good to listen.
I keep to talk.
It's good to listen. It's good to listen.
I expected, the spillover to end up talking about these things, I guess, because of what I was. But seriously, I suggest, and I can't get away from saying this, I suggest to not only them who call in tonight, but any citizen, if they are not satisfied with the result of a complaint or a result of whatever they are complaining about, there is a mechanism in place to deal with that. And that's why I mentioned first the Community Relations Department section of the force that is always proactive in dealing with matters at ground zero, I just call it, ground zero level. And it's only a matter of when you go in, you speak with whether it's a senior officer, junior officer, you get the name and the rank of who you're speaking with, so you can have a point, someone, a vantage point who you can identify that who you spoke with. Because I have no doubt, and I say this not in defense of any particular officer. I have no doubt because I was a commanding officer and I understand how that go. If you make a complaint to a police station and you speak with a senior officer, he or she will deal with your matter and make sure that your complaint is properly dealt with. And if it's a matter that involves a community relations with that division, there is no doubt that something will happen, But I don't know the circumstances surrounding the other complaints, what they're talking about. So, but the bottom line is I suggest...
Get together as a group.
And speak with the community relations.
Yes, I think...
The police are always doing walkabouts in neighborhoods, and one of the main thing when they walk about the neighborhood, they find out from the neighbors and from the citizens, do you have any complaints? Is there any problem here? And that's the way it goes.
Yeah, for me, just recently, I always talk with these experiences. I paid a guy to put in my thing man. Oh Lord. But anyway, I paid the guy $2,800, Miss Bishop, and I paid this guy from 2023, and the guy was doing installing some other equipment, some other places. But I told him, say, man, when on the weekend you could come and fulfill your promise to me. I'd sign my contract and I give you $600 down, and I give you additional $1,500, and I only owed you about $300 because I had $3,200 for him. The guy come and just put my event up, right? He's supposed to come and put my industrial farm up, okay? From 2023, I just went to the police because I didn't want to go through this procedure, but I had no choice because he's kind of getting me irate. I already gave him close to $3,000. I only have $300 more from him. This guy gave me the diddle dally. I went by the Urban Renewal Center. I got my receipt. I talked to the inspector, which police would be my last resort. I rather try to deal with it as a community issue. I gave the police his number, cellular phone number, his name, and I got a response in 2 days.
Right.
Okay, because I called this guy from last year, September, and all I've been getting is his voicemail. But when my friend called him on a different phone, he answered the phone immediately. So what I did, I went to the police. So there's issues like this that we can deal with.
Yeah. So you're saying you got results?
I got results.
There we go.
I got results because I went out there.
Yeah.
Instead of me getting irate and going by this guy's place of work, I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of money. And I paid you, and you ain't finished your work in 2023, and I've been giving you time to go. Anyone can tell you this. I had this discussion, and I asked my friend what I could do. I said, I'm going to go by this guy's place because why he could cost me more than me, and I changed my life around.
Yeah.
You understand? I gave him the benefit of the doubt for him to go do other works. Now he just called me, tell me. They said, there's a lot of work in progress we're going to have to do with the Royal Barbados Police Force, just as well as the citizen.
Yeah.
Because we have citizen justice voice. You understand? Like you said, they come from this community. So we have to put things and stamping points in place for us to have a better Bahamas, where we can be treated equally in the country, like I said. But Bishop, tell us about your event.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it's amazing the excitement that is generated each year as we have this annual, Sunday school rally in the alley, because it brings the community together. It brings the people, it gives them a sense of purpose, a sense of being what I would call being interwoven with what is happening. And I suggest, and I said it in another place, that every community in our country, and in particular in our inner city, needs to come up with some kind of proactive
solution,
positive program or something to keep our communities closely knitted together. That should happen and should be happening. And I am happy to spearhead for the many years being a part of this Sunday school rally. The Sunday school, like I said, to me is like a mobile movement that is going somewhere. And I wish one day to see Sunday school rallies in every community. We have to catch up the slippage that we've had in terms of our young people and getting them inoculated with positive spiritual a spiritual base has to be strengthened. And in our country we have hundreds of churches. We have churches facing each other on the streets. But what is being said in those churches now has to spill out to ground zero, because a lot of young people who are living around the churches, they don't go inside.
No, they don't go inside.
They don't go inside. They pass. They'll go to a funeral.
Yes.
And the way they come out, and that's it.
They stay outside.
They stay outside.
We stay outside. That's exactly what we did. We stayed outside.
And one of the things they haven't I see funerals where they have tailgate parties now.
Yeah, everyone drinking rum.
Everybody drinking and carrying that.
Right
all
outside
of
the funerals.
Yeah,
So yes,
and the preaching, they're trying to preach, but they're not.
They ain't listening.
So what this thing needs
It's a party now.
Yeah. So you have to
Yes,
have
you're right, sir.
this have to start from infancy, from small. And I am happy to say that we at that community Sunday school, we have made tremendous strides. Every Sunday afternoon we are there and doing what we've been called to do. We are getting results, and our students are all over the place. United States, Canada, they all call from time to time saying what that training that was given to them in Sunday school has guided them and caused them to be where they are today. I'm telling you. And I feel as though, those persons who are called to do these things should do what they have to do. There are a lot of people who have information, they have the training to do things, but they just don't do it because they figure nobody called them to do it. But sometimes you have to take the initiative to do some things to make things happen in your community.
Yes. Some of your partners who have been assisting you and donors who have been assisting you, if you could, you'd like to give them a shout out for their dedication. I'm 29 years of community work. If you want to, some of your sponsors, whoever it is that assists you. If you want.
Oh yeah, well, there are a lot of people who assist. They would tell you, well, I don't want to, I want to be, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that. But there is two particular individuals who I have to really give credit to, who have, in their own way, have done tremendous or gave us support. Mr. Ettrick Bow of AFS, his insurance company, I think it's AFS.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he is one of the persons who have done extremely. I mean, he in his own quiet way, he liked what is happening. He loved what is happening, and I can't forget Mr. Roberts, Mr. Rupert Roberts from Super Value,
yes, sir.
who doesn't like publicity when he does things, in his own way, his own quiet way. He would do what he has to do, and no problem. He's a Sunday school man. I can tell you that. A lot of people don't know. He came to the Sunday school and he sat down. He used to come to the rallies whenever he could, and no big deal.
Wow. One more time, the rally and alley will be held January, what it is? January
26.
January 26th. That's, you said, Sunday coming?
Yeah.
Sunday coming. If you want to be a part of it, you want to enjoy the festivities, you can come to Woods Alley. That's all from Martha
early.
Street.
You have to come early because the seats get filled very quick.
Yes, the street will be blocked up as well.
Yeah, the police presence is going to be there.
Who's going to be in attendance?
The Bahama Brass Band is coming from the east. The Urban Renewal Band is coming from the west. And one thing with that rally, you don't know who's going to show up.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
And we're going to be given, I would say this, we're going to give a special moment of silence for the late president, Mr. Jimmy Carter, one of the most influential Sunday school teachers in the world, that the world has seen.
Wow.
And as a president, we invited him to the rally in 2015, and he wrote back. He wanted to come, He wanted to come.
Who passed away?
Yeah, who passed away at the age of 100.
That's the former president of the United States?
Mr. Jimmy Carter.
40, what he used to 40?
Yeah, I can't remember whether he was the 37 or the 47.
Yes, 37.
But the point I'm making, he made an impact with the Sunday school movement.
Wow.
And like I said, in 2015, we invited him to come to the Bahamas to our rally. And he wrote me back through the Carter Center saying he wanted to be there, but because of the commitments and all of the other things, he was involved in the logistics. And can you imagine the president coming in the alley?
It shows you the tremendous work.
Let me tell you, And then I can't forget the impact that Sunday school has had in the country of India. And
I saw you traveling in India.
I was in India I've been there twice. And they duplicated in the slums of Chennai, they duplicated what we're doing in Woods Alley.
So now you're helping people in India. That's your work. That's your work.
Last week they called. They want. I went with me on the second trip.
Congratulations! Your work has gone abroad in India.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is real.
Because everything is connected.
Everything is connected.
So now your work is going to be a model enough for them to do the same thing which you're doing.
And they're so excited. They have Sunday school all throughout the slums of India right now.
So you're doing something with crime. You're doing something spiritually for the individuals. You're giving financial support, and you're putting the work. You're putting your own.
Well, you see, again, like I said, when you are chosen and called for something, you see, I don't know why people believe they're coming back to do something, and life is moving. Life is, things are happening, and if you have something to do, you can't say you're going to delay doing it. You better do that now. If you were called to do something, do it. You see, There are too many people who are just on the sideline watching what happened.
And talking a lot. And they ain't doing nothing
They
at
ain't
all.
doing nothing.
That's faith.
You see?
Faith without works
It's
is
dead.
nothing.
Yeah, it's dead. You see? And I for one, I'm not going to be caught up in that kind of thing. And
Use a door.
you got to do it.
Yes, sir.
You know, and you don't know, you don't know what God have plans for you.
Yes.
The plans that He have for you. When you refuse to do something,
You could be in helping so many people
Yeah.
by accepting what God has given you. You know,
Yeah.
instead you run away from it.
you run away. Yeah, you know.
Jonah in the whale, like.
in the whale. You know,
But he couldn't run away from his destiny.
He couldn't run away. Couldn't
Yes.
run away from it.
You want to say anything before we go, sir?
Man, all I can say is it's rally time. Sunday school rally time.
Yes, yes.
You know, and I invite the whole community. Come. You know, you'll find parking space all on the side of the street. You're going to find parking space, and Salem has allowed us to use their parking lot.
Collaboration
Transfiguration
is coming.
has allowed us to use their parking
Everyone's
lot because the
collaborating now.
spillover. Yeah,
Things is changing. Things is changing. Churches are working together now.
they're working together, and they are happy that the Sunday school is moving and creating a new atmosphere in that community.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, Bishop John Ferguson, former Assistant Commissioner of Police, for you giving us your time and your dedication also as a community leader in your respective community of the Grandstand community, which is Woods Alley, and your contribution of serving so many years on the Royal Bahamas Police. I know many people had a lot of questions she had to ask tonight, but like I said, it's a step in the right direction. You know, there's a lot of work to be done. We had Mr. Thompson talking about the problems, we have faced over and over and over. Well, the problems are going to exist if we don't continue to try and keep on trying to address it. It might be a little while, but we have to keep on trying. You understand? Because I've been trying for many years to make some things happen in the community. Now, it's just taking the course of its own. So don't play dead. Just continue to fight, and with God's grace, everything will fall in place. And I just want to say thanks to all the callers. You did well. Bremer, my suggestion to you, Mr. Thompson the caller gave you, get together with some of your neighbors and the complaints that you have, go and carry to the police community development.
Or even the complaint unit.
And then right now the force is on the rehall. So this is the perfect time right now because they're going to serve even more greater than they did before, because they want to have that great relationship again with the BME, which they do. But, in some aspect, like the caller stated, there have been a lot of downfalls. But now, like I said, we have to work together to make the Bahamas a better place. So I hope you all enjoy the show. I'll see you next week, Friday, on Inside the Inner City. I'm your host, Valentino O'Brien. See you next week with God's Spare Life. Thanks to Bishop Ferguson, Big Harvest Community Center, for doing such an excellent job. Good night, everyone.
Right between West and Augusta, where them two roads meet, they call it Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a sign blank check. It seems the ones that come in after quick to disrespect. You see, this life in the ghetto never easy. So many hungry days break till it grieve me. Way I doing the best I can. Can't turn my dollar to 100 grand. I represent the ghetto people I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up in town, bro. Where I from in town, bro. Don't take no back talk, no bribe or no